Tuesday, March 19th. Welcome back to the Damon Bruce Show, brought to you by Ike's Lovin' Sandwiches, baby. Get yourself some love and get yourself a sandwich. It is really good to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping on by. We've got a good one for you this afternoon. And like all times, we start with the sport that is king, and that is the NFL, and certainly around these parts, it's the 49ers. Thank God for the first time in a long time, we have no quarterback controversy to speak of. Like, if nothing else, get down on your hands and knees and thank the Lord that Brock Purdy has delivered us that. He might not have delivered the Super Bowl that you needed, but a constant conversation of who the 49ers starting quarterback it became an unwelcome house guest there, did it not? I mean, it was an awful lot. Now it's just about who's going to be the backup, and we have our answer. And unfortunately for Larry Krueger, who was stumping very hard for Zach Wilson possibly being the candidate, it is not Zach Wilson. No seventh rounder, no pick at all need be traded to add the backup quarterback, Josh Dobbs. Come on down. And I'll tell you, he's one of the few players in the NFL that I really spent no time giving any regard to. And then last year, just through the situations he was in, the reporting that I saw on him, I developed a level of respect for Josh Dobbs last year, and you can go on back, you can check the tape. Whatever it was, the 49ers Cardinals week where they ran into Josh Dobbs, I gave that guy an awful lot of credit for being a better player than I thought he would be, and he is just thrown into situation that is bad situation after bad situation, and he's found a degree of success in these situations. Is it success that is duplicated and stamped out like an assembly line? No. That's why he's a backup quarterback. If he were successful more often than not, he'd be a starting quarterback. So any backup quarterback comes with inherent flaws and a list of statistics that when you look at them, you go, but that's just the role. The question, I think, for a backup quarterback is simply this. With the right amount of on-the-job training, should something happen to your starting quarterback, could you come in for about 4 weeks and go 2-2? Asking a backup quarterback to come on in and have a winning record, I think is almost too much of an ask. All you're looking for is, can we not lose ground with you in the game? I think Josh Dobbs can be that guy for the 49ers. Right now, your quarterbacking room is Brock Purdy, Josh Dobbs, and Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen is still a totally unknown, unproven NFL entity. Josh Dobbs has proven more. And he's the kind of guy who has been handed a playbook on a Wednesday in a new stadium, and on Sunday he's starting and he's playing relatively well. Is he a great quarterback? The answer is a definitive, easy to see, no, he is not. But that's why he's a backup. There are no great backup quarterbacks, right? I mean, it's just, it doesn't add up. If you're great, you wouldn't be a backup. So you're going to bring in a flawed player. Ask yourself these questions. Is my flawed player an ass kicker? Does he get into the playbook? Does he learn it quickly? Is he smart? Is he adaptable? I think Josh Dobbs is all of those things. Do players like him and rally around him quickly? A double yes for Josh Dobbs, because we saw that in Arizona and in Minnesota last year. So I think that he ticks boxes of personality and work ethic, and now it's how do you fit into this room? I think he will fit into the room very well in a way where Jimmy Garoppolo might have brought some working knowledge into that room, back into it because he had been here. The fit is no longer right. You know, he's clearly not who he used to be, and that backup, you're no longer, it wouldn't have fit right. And I was afraid that Zach Wilson, even with a fresh start, and everybody giving him the benefit of the doubt, might not fit right. I think Josh Dobbs is the right fit. Hopefully, he's not asked to throw a single football, but in a week 18 where all you're looking to do is get to the playoffs healthy, if the Niners are lucky enough to be back there next year. But Josh Dobbs is your QB2, and I don't think that there's anyone who should be upset about that or offended by that or thinking that that's not going to be good enough. I think it's a good move that doesn't cost the Niners much, and it's a player who, should he be thrust into action, I think can tread water. I think he can tread water. And so that's pretty good. No water here. This is a delicious hot cup of coffee. Let's see where we are. It's got to cool down just a little. Got to cool down just a little bit before we officially reach sip of the day status. So there you go. Our lead story, our thumbnail superstar, Josh Dobbs, now in the room. Another 49ers story to get you to today. Joan and Payroll, sweetheart, what'd you do? What'd you do? Joan and Payroll is a mythic, legendary figure down in Santa Clara. Obviously, we don't know if Joan is real, really, whatever. Joan and Payroll might be more of a legend. Maybe the legend had the week off. I don't know. But Tom Pelissero is reporting that the 49ers will have to forego their original fifth-round selection next draft and will have their 2024 fourth-round selection, number 131, moved to the end of the fourth round behind the compensatory picks. So now it's 135. And this action, according to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, resulted in the league review that found an administrative payroll accounting error at the close of the 2022 league year that resulted in a misreporting of the club's cumulative player compensation. In other words, the numbers were fudged. The NFL determined. And this is, to me, the only interesting part of an otherwise dull accounting story. Because, look, whenever a team manipulates numbers to their advantage, the only reason why they would do it is because they thought they got a legitimate advantage out of it. Funny accounting is ever present in our business world. And sometimes it's a bona fide, legitimate, made a mistake, and sometimes there's some tomfoolery going on. And if the 49ers have a little tomfoolery going on, well, that would be a little embarrassing, and you're trying to get away with something that you shouldn't have gotten away with. And what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Well, the NFL determined that the club would have remained under the salary cap at all times, regardless of the error, and there was no intent to circumvent the cap. So all the forensic accountants have come in from the NFL. They've looked at these books. They've found something inaccurate, but they haven't found something that they thought was like clearly trying to cheat or trying to gain an advantage. Math is funny. Accountants make mistakes, and maybe that is indeed what happened here. Now, I am the biggest, let's ask a couple of questions. I'm a little cynical. You know, don't tell me that this error that created an advantage was just a mistake, but the NFL says there was no advantage. So then I would come back to ask the NFL, if legitimate mistakes and errors were made in accounting, why any punishment at all? If no tomfoolery was found and no advantage was gained, why should there be any reshuffling of any draft picks, which could be a competitive disadvantage? I think you maybe look to give a team a competitive disadvantage if they're trying to circumvent the rule book to find a competitive advantage, but that's not what the NFL found here. So, like, riddle me this, Batman. I don't get it. If no harm, no foul, honest mistake is the determining outcome of all this, why any punishment at all? It's not harsh, it's not severe, but just asking questions out loud here. Just wondering. That's all we're doing over here. We're just wondering aloud what the hell's going on. I mean, this shows you how much money is flowing through these teams, through these ledgers, through these spreadsheets. You can lose track of it. The 49ers lost track of whatever this amount of dollars is somehow, some way. Look at what just happened in Jacksonville. We're talking like stacks of tens of millions of dollars was embezzled. These teams are so awash in cash, that it's easy to misplace tens of millions of dollars, I guess. And you also had an absolute bona fide criminal enterprise working there where somebody was embezzling cash and going about doing the wrong thing intentionally. But it took years to find it out. It's amazing. The closer you get to like big boy, big business excellence, you find that there really isn't that much more of an overly qualified person overseeing anything these days. It's like specialties and real expertise is in great demand because cost-cutting measures probably drove out the person who might have found the mistake to begin with. It's like this across all business these days. It's not that there is a lack of care. There's a lack of experience. And that's what happens when you take the adults in the room, tell them that they're too overpaid to be here anymore, and replace them with lesser qualified, younger employees. So, interesting little wrinkle to an offseason, which for the 49ers, I think is flowing pretty darn well. By the way, speaking of pretty darn well, if you'd like to eat pretty darn well this afternoon, get yourself to Ike's. Get an Ike's sandwich. Today, I think you should order, I don't know, a Jamie Sirewich. That's one of my absolute favorites. You got the gold barbecue sauce, that yellow barbecue sauce, which has got awesome tang on the chicken tender, which is fantastic. Comes out nice and crispy. I always add a little red onion on that. Godfather sauce on everything. Extra Godfather sauce on everything as far as I'm concerned. No tomato for me. And I do mine on, I always go with French bread. I know Dutch Crunch is wildly popular with Ike's diehards, but I'm more of I don't like the Dutch Crunch. I don't like cutting the roof of my mouth. I don't want my bread to be a challenge. I just want it to hold everything in place. That's why I go French bread. But anyways, get a Jamie Sirewich. Get yourself some Ike's this afternoon. Order it on his app. Download the Ike's app. Start earning your way towards free sandwiches. That's my man right there. That's my man, Ike. Mario, just looking at a quick chat over here saying, Josh Dobbs, better than Zach. I think he's certainly more well-liked in the situations he's been in. Does he have a greater floor right now than Zach Wilson? Yes. Does he have as high a ceiling as Zach Wilson? The answer is probably not. We'll find out if Zach Wilson ends up in the right place to become a real quarterback one day. But I don't think that experiment needs to be run on the same timeline that is the 49ers championship window. So just a little bit too much of a burden to take on for Kyle and company. So there you go. Got Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs rolling on in. Trying to win with a quarterback on a rookie deal. Like, that's what every single team in the NFL seems to be pursuing. You can spend an awful lot more money on the talent around your quarterback while your quarterback is on a rookie deal. Obviously, this is a starting quarterback on a rookie deal, comes with greater cap numbers than Brock Purdy's does. Brock Purdy's cap number is the ultimate example of a quarterback on a rookie deal. The contract is so infinitesimal, it doesn't even count against the 49er salary cap. Big Cat of Barstool, Dan Katz, had a pretty interesting tweet. I don't know what he was talking about, what he was debating, but he maybe did a little research, did a little Googling at Barstool and came up with, the concept of trying to win a quarterback on a rookie deal. For all these teams that are pursuing it, there's not a lot of teams having success with it. And I thought this was interesting because obviously we're in the last year of Brock Purdy being a song for the 49ers. Winning a Super Bowl is hard, especially against Mahomes and Brady. Here are a list of quarterbacks in the Super Bowl that were paid less than 10% of the cap. In other words, quarterback on a rookie deal. In 2023, Brock Purdy, he took a loss. In 2022, it was Jalen Hurts, he took a loss. In 2021, it was Joe Burrows, he took a loss. In 2020, it was Mahomes, he met Tom Brady and took a loss. In 2019, the legend of Patrick Mahomes began with a win in that Super Bowl over the 49ers. Jared Goff in 2018 on a rookie deal, that was a loss. Nick Foles was a win for the Eagles in 2017, but remember, he was a veteran backup. Carson Wentz was on his rookie deal, so that, I guess, counts as a win, even though Wentz didn't even play. In 2015, Cam Newton was on his rookie deal. That was a loss in the Super Bowl. 2014, Russ was on his rookie deal still. That was a loss in the Super Bowl. 2013, that's when Russ and the Legion of Boom rolled in and beat the Peyton Manning-led Denver Broncos. It was Peyton. That wasn't his last go-around with the Colts, right? He was a Denver Bronco at that point. There's a win for Russ in that one. And then in 2012, you had Joe Flacco, who picked up a win on his rookie deal, while Colin Kaepernick took a loss on his rookie deal. So normally, you go to a Super Bowl with a quarterback on a rookie deal, it doesn't mean you're necessarily just, oh yeah, you're going to win that Super Bowl because there's so much talent everywhere else. So it is funny that the equation that everyone is pursuing in football hasn't done an awful lot of winning at the single highest level. Now, all of these teams, though, when you look at them, they're in good shape. The 49ers with Purdy is in good shape. The Eagles are in good shape. The Cincinnati Bengals, good shape. Let's call it that. Let's be nice. Obviously, Kansas City, good shape. Jared Goff is moved on from the Rams, who remain in good shape. And he is off to Detroit, who has become a team that is in good shape. Just thought that was interesting. What does it mean, Damon? What does it mean? I don't know what it means. I just thought it was interesting. And there you go. First about 20 minutes of the show, all football, all NFL, Josh Dobbs, thumbnail, taken care of. Nobody can say they got baited and switched on this one. At least I hope not. Let's see if we're at sip of the day status. We are. We've achieved sip of the day. Outstanding. We're going to talk a little baseball because something actually happened. Went with a live short. I'd never done that before yesterday. We were experimenting over here on YouTube. Hopefully it worked for you. Was it good for me? We'll find out. Blake Snell is no joke. We've been talking about how the San Francisco Giants are the kind of team that probably didn't do enough offensively to improve their chances, which means they got to double down defensively, and they need better pitching. Logan Webb, and good luck with that. Didn't sound like a whole bunch of better pitching. Logan Webb and Blake Snell, that is as good a 1-2 punch any rotation throws in Major League Baseball. So the chances of the Giants being a 70-win team were replaced in this one move with an opportunity to be an 85-90-win team. This is a big move for Farhan and the Giants, whose offseason looks much better now with just one addition than it did before Blake Snell joined the conversation. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. He is the reigning Cy Young Award winner. He is a 2-time ERA leader. He's done it in both leagues. He was a stud in the American. He's a stud in the National, and I'm not sure there's much difference between the two anymore anyways. He is a legit reason why the Giants can actually think of winning 90 games this year. This is a big move. He's a real deal pitcher. He had a 2.25 ERA, an ERA plus a 182. He had a league best 5.8 hits allowed over 9 innings last season. And again, Snell and Logan Webb are a legit 1-2, righty-lefty. I like it an awful lot. It is a 2-year, $62 million deal, which, if he's good in his first year, he's going to opt out. So that makes it more of a 1-year, $31 million deal. If he's good, if he's bad, maybe he'll come back at that price. But Snell is going to be making $1 million to start. And the Giants, they kind of needed to pay the didn't really do enough offensively tax that was adding a pitcher like Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell. Blake Snell, come on down. I'm not sure this is so much of shrewd negotiating, playing the waiting game the right way, as much as just Snell priced himself off of everybody else's radar, including the New York Yankees. He, I guess, asked the Yankees for $35 million a year, and they said, no, thank you very much. We're not doing that. So at 31, is that a deal? I don't know. But Farhan, it feels like this sort of fell to him because Snell priced himself off of every other general manager's to-do list. So maybe that's now the secret equation for the Giants to land a big free agent. No one else wants them, or no one else is willing to pay that much for them. Maybe that's the advantage that they need to start taking advantage of. I don't know, but I think that Snell, looking around at his options, thought, all right, well, if you're not going to put me right in the centerpiece of a team that's built to win, put me right in the centerpiece of a forgiving ballpark and a team that can make my stats and numbers grow. And I do think that Snell pitching at 24 Willie Mays Plaza is going to be an even better Blake Snell than you would get in most other ballparks. That is a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and I think he's going to enjoy it. It also speaks to him liking to being around Bob Melvin, and we all know that Bob Melvin is a really good, trustworthy guy, and I'm glad that Snell looked at the whole situation and said, yeah, I'm willing to give myself to Bo Mel and the Giants for a year in a very forgiving ballpark, and let's see what I do. Again, if he has any sort of big year, he's opting out and going to be back asking for 40 next year. The price of business in sports does not go down unless we're talking about PA announcers, and we'll get to some more on Renel here in just a second. But looking at the Giants offseason now, kids, it looks better. It officially looks better. The Giants have added the reigning Cy Young Award winner. They've added a 4-time Gold Glove winning third baseman. When they needed to get better defensively, they've done that. We'll see what Chapman has left with his stick, but defensively, there aren't many better. They added an all-star from last year coming off a 36 home run season to be their designated hitter, and they've added Korean Ichiro, who we don't know what he's going to be. Have absolutely no idea what he was going to be, but a very coveted player from Korea is now here with the Giants. He's actually hitting pretty darn well in Scottsdale. Now, what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing the minute the national anthem ends on opening day. Those are the stats that matter. We'll see what he looks like when this team gets underway for real. But again, Korean Ichiro, 36 home run DH coming off an all-star year, a 4-time Gold Glove third baseman, and the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Any team would consider their offseason productive making those 4 additions. And that's not it, because also in the pipeline is another former Cy Young Award winner who will be healthy enough to start contributing about midway through this year in Robbie Ray. Okay. It was a brutal PR day for the San Francisco Giants in the AM. In the PM, it gets a little bit better with Blake Snell, who just by himself raises the entire level of expectation for this this free agent class this offseason. And what the Giants have done looks a whole lot better now than it did. So, all right, Farhan, you're a popular whipping boy around here. We'll also tell you when you deserve a sugar cube. I think Farhan will go away from the whip for this turn of the track. We're going around that first turn, entering the first furlong, and we're going to give Farhan a sugar cube. Sugar cube for Farhan. The rest of the decision makers over with the San Francisco Giants, no sugar cubes. We might have to go back to the whip hand for them. Because, imagine if yesterday's news around the Giants was simply they've added Blake Snell. What a great day they would have had. What an incredible day. It sort of saved their day after they started the day with, outside of like, we're no longer serving garlic fries, pissed off fans. And one of the things that I think has been on full display that flies into the, all the chats that I've seen from people and, these baseball tough guys who are like, yeah, I really don't care about the PA announcer. I'm just here to watch baseball. I'm such a big baseball fan that I don't care about anything that's not in the lineup or on the mound. And to that person, I would say you have completely missed the entire boat and you need to shut up. Because in overwhelming fashion, all precincts reported yesterday, without a doubt, that people care deeply about their PA announcers. Not just people who work with microphones like me, but people like you who go to that ballpark, have been there since its opening day, and have never not once heard any voice other than Renel's coming off of over the PA. Renel's voice has been in that ballpark as long as that ballpark has existed. She is part of the, if I can steal a vocabulary word from our friend Marty Lurie, she is part of the tapestry of Giants baseball. She's a big part of it. She's a big part of it. It's like, I don't know, there was like this Mother Goose warming, feeling like you're home, feeling like you're definitely in San Francisco when you heard Renel's voice coming over that PA system. Nostalgia is a powerful drug. Powerful drug. And people were addicted to Renel. There was zero outside clamoring for her to be replaced. Beloved is the only word that describes her relationship with the fans, with the players, with the team, with the city, with the broadcasters who work for the San Francisco Giants. She's a PA announcer who got her own bobblehead, for goodness sakes. You don't do that unless people care and connect. So for the San Francisco Giants to have reached whatever conclusion or equation that led them to walking away from negotiating Renel's future with the team, to me, it's short-sighted. Even if it is pound-wise, even if it is penny-wise, it's pound-foolish. Congratulations. You are saving X amount of dollars by hiring new PA person Y. What negativity did you buy for those X amount of dollars that you saved with your fan base who is officially not happy with this decision? People are not happy. And, I read this article that basically said the San Francisco Giants are essentially like a tech company now. They're just slashing internal budgets to keep their profits soaring, and they want to do less with more in-house, do more with less in-house, and pay everyone who works for the club less upon less upon less dollars. And it's just a way of making more money by spending less money on people whose salaries are infinitesimal compared to the players. It's really, Kara Swisher, she is officially one of the brightest bulbs in the journalism chandelier. Kara Swisher's got a new book about, the history of tech and where it's going, called Burn Book. And it starts with the line, "It was capitalism all along." In other words, all of these tech companies, which, presented to you 15, 20 years ago, a whole bunch of younger, newly minded, next generation CEOs who are going to make the world better through better choices and more altruistic presence in the business world. Bullshit. It was all bullshit. And what really is the only thing that these guys have been operating under this entire time is capitalism. Make as much money as you can regardless of who gets hurt along the way. So Kara Swisher is saying, eventually, it's capitalism all along. The San Francisco Giants can be great in an opening day ceremony. They can get all their forever Giant bullshit plastered all over the outside wall of the ballpark. They can have wonderful presentations of plaques and hugs and warm feelings and all this stuff. It is all bullshit. They're just trying to make as much money as possible. It's why they waited as long as possible to not add Blake Snell, because they were hoping they weren't going to have to spend that extra 31 million, right? But they got to the point where they're just like, we got to do something. Grant Brisbee wrote about this in The Athletic and basically said, look, professional sports is a business, and you're hearing that from the Giants. What's going on with Renel? It's just a business. Like, we get it. But Grant writes, it's also one of the weirdest businesses in the world. It's regional pride wrapped up in silly tribalism mixed with nostalgia and the best childhood memories possible. It's what people do at night and on the weekends for months and months, and they forget about their real lives. And most adults describe what they do every single day with a basic level of it's all business. And this business of sports is what helps us escape our business lives. So it's not just a normal business. And to try and just say, like baseball, it's just a business, it's not true. It's more than just a business. You want to know what a business is? This car dealership trying to sell more cars than that car dealership. There is not going to be a section in the newspaper that tells us which car dealership sold more units of any at the auto mall that day. It's not printed. There are no car dealership standings that people pore over or worry about. It's not just a business. There is an element to civic pride, artistic pleasure, and there's just more to it in sports. And we know that. We can't really quantify it, but it's out there. The PA announcer, when she is so universally beloved, you should take it in your business shorts just a little to bring her back. Going back to Grant Brisbee, he says, maybe it's possible for an army of consultants in a study of baseball organizations for a couple months to determine that public address announcer isn't worth a dime over X. Like, does the Giants front office have a proprietary formula of dollars/war for PA announcers and what it really means and a cutoff point of this is just a dollar amount we cannot enter? We cannot pay this amount of money for this position and be making as much money in business as we want to. Grant goes on to write, every single cost-benefit analysis, though, has to make space for public relations and fan goodwill. The ledger has to have a spot for the bad vibes a move creates. Again, outside of canceling garlic fries and removing Crazy Crab, Lucille, and Ghirardelli chocolate sundaes from the ballpark, outside of no more beer, no more peanuts, there isn't a move that could have bad vibes ripple throughout your ballpark all summer than by replacing Renel. It's just stupid business, even if it's good business. It's bad business. So, here's what I can tell you about Renel. She used to work with a microphone in San Francisco. I used to work with a microphone in San Francisco. I guess technically, in a weird way, I still am. But it's different now. Anyone who used to work with a microphone in this town gets a lunch with me. I am the official exit interview. We've done this with Paul McCaffrey. We've done this. No, let me make sure that's deleted. We've done this with Paul McCaffrey. We've done this with FP Santangelo. We will do this with Renel. I'm setting up she and I have been texting back and forth And she wants pictures of the kids. She wants to come and meet Ozzy. She wants to hang out and do lunch. So I'm going to do lunch with Renel in the next couple of weeks. That's what you get when you're on the beach without a microphone in San Francisco. You go to lunch with Damon Bruce. So Renel and I will be doing lunch soon. I'm looking forward to that because she is just the kind of person that is phenomenal. It's absolutely just a phenomenal person. Meanwhile, the Oakland Ballers, who are quickly replacing the Oakland A's as the preferred East Bay baseball team, they sent out a tweet saying, hey, Renel Brooks-Moon, you're an icon. We're here to support all Bay Area baseball icons, especially our Oakland natives, when you're ready. Know we're here. We're ready to welcome you back. Wouldn't that be something else? Renel is now the PA voice of the Oakland Ballers. I hope it happens. I really do. I hope she opens a Spite store. Meanwhile, I saw this, and it's the only thing I'm going to tell you about the A's today, who don't deserve to make the show. The A's opening day payroll was $18 million higher in 2007 than it will be on opening day of 2024. 17 years ago, the Oakland A's were spending $79 million on their opening day payroll. Come opening day this year, $61 million. John Fisher, your entire family, fuck you. Oh my God, you're just the worst. You're the absolute worst at it of all time. God damn, that's just terrible. I mean, that's all the evidence you could possibly need to know about the intentional sabotaging of a team's chances to even connect with the community anymore. Oh, that's the worst. A couple of other things before we get into a little Club Plus here. I see the chat is absolutely flying. I've missed an awful lot of what everyone was talking about already. But we will hop in live here in just a second. Got to talk a little bit about the Warriors, who completely no-showed to a home game against the New York Knicks. Terrible thing to do to all the lady broadcasters who were working that game last night. You got a shorthanded Knicks team who gave 47 minutes to Miles McBride. He averages 6 points per game this year, and on Tuesday night, he had 29 points. Or excuse me, Monday night, 29. Miles McBride goes for 29. Andrew Wiggins was 2 for 9 for 7 points. And just, every one of them more limp-wristed than the other. Pods Pajemski, he had a terrible night last night. He failed to score. He scored nothing. Draymond had 2 points and led all Warriors with 4 turnovers. It was just a shit basketball game. And the Warriors came out with no energy, and they didn't find any energy, and the only guy who provided any energy is my guy, Trayce Jackson-Davis. And I'm going to tell you, my Hoosiers aren't anywhere to be found in any NCAA bracket. They're not going to the NIT. And the only thing I have left to root for in terms of Indiana is Trayce Jackson-Davis's development over this final last chapter of the year that we're about to see. And I'm going to tell you right now that he should be starting every fucking game for the Golden State Warriors. All of them from here on out. Trayce Jackson-Davis is your best center by a lot right now. Right now. The Golden State Warriors have spent an awful lot of time trying to get these pieces to fit together, and they're moving all these pieces around and seeing what fits, what doesn't fit. Here you go. Here's what you need to do for the final stretch of the year. You get Klay Thompson with Steph Curry back in the starting lineup. Obviously, Kuminga stays, Draymond stays, and Trayce Jackson-Davis is your starting center. Get Andrew Wiggins a fucking WNBA jersey and send him packing to the bench. I don't give a shit what happens to him. Get him off the court. He and his effort are a energy suck from the Golden State Warriors. It's just awful. Just awful. Trayce Jackson-Davis, 19 points on 9 of 9 shooting, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, 0 turnovers. What more do you need? What more do you need? Let me tell you what Trayce Jackson-Davis is next year. He's the Warriors starting center. By year 3, he is going to be in an all-star conversation. I have watched Trayce Jackson-Davis closer than anyone associated with the Golden State Warriors over the last 4 or 5 years. I promise you that. Not one of them watched every single game he played in college, and Trayce has taken the leap that I saw him make from his sophomore year to his junior year, from his junior year to his senior year, from his senior preseason schedule, all the way to the Big Ten Conference schedule. Trayce gets better by leaps and bounds, and he takes big steps forward, and he's taken one right now. This kid is it. Get Andrew Wiggins, pouty, not trying, effortless, candy ass off the court, and let Trayce Jackson-Davis go out there and make all the mistakes he needs to get better. And I can't help but notice he's not making an awful lot of mistakes. No turnovers. He's perfect from the floor. Steve Kerr needs to stop praying to the false prophet that is Andrew Wiggins. That guy sucks. Straight up, as a basketball player, that guy is soft. There's nothing soft about Trayce Jackson-Davis. Nothing. Wait until you see what he becomes. I cannot wait for year 3 of Trayce Jackson-Davis. Holy shit. What a player you're going to have by year 3. I'm telling you right now, this team should have Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and the rest of you better get in line because you're all replaceable. Those are the 3 guys that are not replaceable. Kuminga, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Steph Curry. Everyone else, you're just a piece. You can play yourself onto the board. You can play yourself off of the board. Those 3 guys are where your present and your future lie. Final note before we go into Club Plus today. It's been a good show today, if you don't mind me saying. Please hit like and subscribe. I haven't even asked you to hit like and subscribe. Have you hit notify? That would help too. Like and subscribe. It's a great way to help the channel. Thank you very much for helping it grow. I think we're going to be over 18,000 here this afternoon. Dan Wetzel with a couple of notes on this upcoming NCAA tournament that I just had to share because they're too good. So Dan Monson got fired from Long Beach State last Monday and was allowed to keep coaching. Well, Long Beach State went out and won the Big West tournament, and so the fired Dan Monson is coaching Long Beach State in the NCAA tournament. How great is that? Kevin Keats was also on a big-time hot seat at NC State as the week began, and then all of a sudden the Wolfpack rattle off 5 in a row. They take the ACC title and an automatic bid, which, as Keats was about to be fired, triggers a 2-year automatic contract extension worth at least $7 million. You gotta love conference tournament play. It's March. Anything can happen. 2 coaches who were on their way out are now seated. One guy's got $7 million guaranteed now coming to him, and he was about to get bounced. How great is that? How great is that? If you were just listening on the podcast today, man, thank you so very much for doing that. Appreciate you being here, spending part of your very valuable time with yours truly. I thank you very, very much. We're going to hop into Club Plus on YouTube. Meanwhile, everyone listening, thank you so very much for doing so. And please remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Plug it in and turn this off. All right. All right. Big Mac says the Warriors are terrible at home this season. What the fuck, right? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. They are now a game under 500 at home. I'm not going to take you seriously at the 8, the 9, the 10, the 5, the 2, the 1. There is no seed or presumed seed or opportunity to gain a playoff seed that I can take more seriously than you got a losing record on your own home court. That's soft. I don't think they would. Had Trayce Jackson-Davis been given more rope during his rookie season. All right. Scott Boris with another black eye, True Blue forever. He just got his guy $1 million a start. If that's a black eye, you can knock me out with 10-ounce gloves. I mean, you could say whatever you want. It wasn't the big $100 million+ deal that they might have wanted, but they're all right. Otis Bird saying, yeah, the Giants could be an 85 to 90 win team now. I'm getting excited. There you go. Nathaniel asking a legit question. Why was Snell even available? Health questions or salary? No questions about that. Man's health at all. That had nothing to do with it. It was just it was a dollar amount. It was a dollar amount that other teams cooled off on. And that's why he basically has a 1-year deal. He's going to go try it again next year. I know it's a 2-year deal, but that second-year option, I've never seen a player have a good year and not exercise that option, not once. So Mario says, I like Jorge Soler. Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. That guy is either going to step into that DH spot, become a steady, everyday contributor, and add real power, or he's going to get old overnight, have way too many swings and misses, and top out at 26 home runs. We'll find out. But I do want to like him. Rock Eastwood, again, Korean Ichiro's a bit far. I love the hope, though. Again, we don't know. We don't know. But that's what he is. He's supposed to be the best hitting, best fielding baseball player from Korea. So Korean Ichiro is the way I'm going. Now, let's see. He might not even be a top-of-the-order hitter once Major League Baseball really gets underway. We'll have to see. What else we got going on? Rock says, look, I remember a time when Sabian was a whipping boy. I remember. Oh, yeah, I remember too. Chef A. Korean Ichiro. Bimbap Donburi. Oh, yes. I love Korean barbecue. I love flavor. I love a good bimbap. I love Korean flavors. That was it gonji, whatever it's called, whatever that is. God, I love that flavor profile. Red Jet, she's like, yeah, you want to incite a riot? No garlic fries, no Renel, and it's on. Oh, there'll be people with torches. There'll be people with torches outside the ballpark, Red Jet. No doubt. True Blue Forever knows what's up. Bimbap. It's so good. It's so good when it hits your lips. Mike is like, hey, there are other sports other than football? Yeah, believe it or not, there are. We will cover them. We will get to them. We will get through them. We will effort our way through the headlines that matter. I will never, ever waste your time. That's the goal here. Others clearly trying to waste your time and make you listen to 4-hour shows that don't even have 90 good minutes of content. But, you know, it's amateur hour these days. How about this for a good idea from Tiger Tank 06? Damon should really have Brody Brazil on his show. Brody's very knowledgeable about the A's and the Sharks, and adding to that, Damon could also bring on Chris Townsend. I like Chris Townsend very, very much. I certainly like Brody very much. I saw him at the Monterey Bay Aquarium a month or two ago. I love Brody. I will get him on the show. Pennywise. I just said Pennywise, pound foolish. Pennywise. Yeah, no, not the scary clown from It. We're talking about financial prudence. Speaking of a woman who knows something about working with a microphone, Kim worked with many a microphone in her time as a broadcaster here in the Bay. Renel's release caused some of the most backlash I've seen, and deservedly so. I hope they bring her back for a 25th year. She can give them a big FU next year, as she's the Giants ambassador. Again, how much money did you save on not negotiating with Renel, and was it worth the tsunami of bad feelings that you had thrown into the universe yesterday? I don't know what dollar amount you put on Vibes, but I think I care more about it than the Giants seem to realize how much. The Giants don't seem to realize how unattractive they're becoming to their own diehard fans. And that's hubris. That's arrogance. That's the rich people sitting in the suites that remove them from the proletariat, from the common folk. And this is how you get the let them eat cake quotes. You know, Charles Johnson might as well be Marie Antoinette. If Marie Antoinette was funding Marjorie Taylor Greene. Steve says she always had a way of making each player on the Giants sound better than they were, bigger than they are. The Giants players now sound like losers. I mean, I don't know about that, but I loved. You could tell when Renel really loved a player because she would put just a little extra emphasis on that player's name. The single best announced presence ever in a batting order from Renel is when she would put on the black scent for Marvin Bernard. Everyone was now batting number whatever player's name. Now batting Marvin Bernard. Like she would give Marvin the sauce that other guys did not get. I loved when Renel, that was my favorite name she ever broadcast. Now batting Marvin Bernard. She was excellent at it. And I don't like when experienced people who are excellent at their job get let go so a billion-dollar company gets to pinch pennies somehow. It's a little personal for me. And I'm telling you right now, that this is going to continue. Whoever your favorite broadcaster on the radio is today, they're going to lose their job tomorrow. Maybe not physically, actually tomorrow, but it's coming. There is no long broadcasting career with a microphone available for any of your favorite hosts right now. As long as they're on the radio, it's only a matter of time. Again, remember, this is an advertising business that no longer gets advertising dollars. Where do you think the cuts are going to come from? What else we got going on? Oh, here you go. You got a Must Be Trouble saying the one game that A's fans should go to is the boycott on opening night. What I'm hoping for is there to be a helicopter shot of fans in the ballpark who I hope are next to none, and then thousands of fans outside representing that boycott. I would love it. Unfortunately, it will fall on deaf, arrogant ears that are only attached to galactic assholes, and it won't really matter. Old Dirty Hungus says, Renel hated the Johnsons. Like the assholes they are, they don't like anyone not kissing the ring. There is probably an awful lot of truth to that. I know that, look at it this way. The rich billionaire who's a mega MAGA funder probably doesn't like that nice black lady who keeps on talking about rights for all and equality and stuff. But I don't know. I really do not know what happened, yet I think we all kind of know what happened. Speaking of changes, the Giants need to bring back their fried calamari. I didn't even know they offered any calamari in the ballpark. Ghost answer. Don't forget the Cracker Jacks. The Cracker Jack is, I think, one of the... How about this? Have you ever had a Cracker Jack not at a baseball game? That means it's not a good snack. It is a location-appropriate snack. I never thought Cracker Jacks was a good choice. Kim says, I hope she gets brought back. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. Again, this is Ameritus, our broadcaster Ameritus, our PA announcer Ameritus. That's when you know. That's when you know the bullshit machine is working extra hard on this one. What else we got going on here? From DRVR8. Can we have an opener announcer? You pay her 3/4 less of the salary. She comes in and relieves the starting opener announcer. Yeah, the first 4 outs of the game are done by some guy named Billy. And then we bring in Renel for the rest of it. I agree with Chef A implicitly here. Renel's voice comforted the same way that hearing John Miller's mellifluous voice brought comforts. It was a sign of summer in baseball. Absolutely. You wrapped yourself up in those words of hers and that sound of her voice like a blanket. You know, if you ask me to describe what does Renel's voice sound like, it sounds like caramel. It's smooth, it's sweet, it's comforting. Sounds like there's no way something that delicious can't be bad for you a little bit. It's got to be fattening. She has a wonderful voice. As someone who comes from an industry of people making money with their voices, I never thought I had a good voice, but I know good voices when I hear them, and her voice is great. Great. I know I did screw over the A's and say nasty things about them, so my man Carl Buszczek is very happy. He's got fire emojis. I don't know. What part of the show was this when Damon just turned it up to 11? See what happens, Christopher, when that coffee kicks in? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about I turn it up, but I'm going to tell you right now, Trayce Jackson-Davis is better than the Warriors even think he is. And they need to start conducting business accordingly. Mario says, Every time I watch my son's Little League game, the PA announcer was a volunteer but sounded the same as Renel. No joke. I mean, that's the thing. You got people doing impressions. It's like, what's his name? Sterling with the New York Yankees forever. Now batting, number 2, Derek Jeter. Jeter. Every single PA announcer along the eastern seaboard tried to sound like, was it Sterling? What was his name? Shepard? Sterling? I can't remember. It's been a while. I had a stroke. JJ Rader, sponsor of the Ganja Jar. I got a feeling that Damon wants to get TJD more playing time. Well, you know, when you go 9 for 9 from the floor, when you go 0 turnovers, 3 blocks, 2 assists, and 19 points, and you show more effort than anyone else on the fucking court, yeah, I think you deserve more playing time. Did I go off there? I didn't even realize I was going off. I think it just happened. Damon, you need to make the ultimate sacrifice for Trayce, says Christopher. Rename your sandwich at Ike's to the Trayce Jackson-Davis. We don't need to do that. He can get his own sandwich. I bet you Ike can get him his own sandwich. Irwin says, might not be a popular notion, but Curry's partly responsible for the loss last night with his poor first half play. He wasn't on it. I mean, that's the thing. If Curry's not on it, you need someone else to step up. That someone else, I can't help but notice, is never Andrew Wiggins, not never. And that's why I can't stand him. Because he's got as much basketball talent as a human being can possess in their body, Andrew Wiggins has it. He chooses not to use it. Dear God, Damon, was that, what was in the sip of the day? The essence of Wiggins? No, because there was an actual, like, chutzpah to it, you know? Steve says, Trayce Jackson-Davis will not be with the Warriors when his contract is up. Well, you don't know that. We have no evidence of that other than you typing it into the world. He will not want to play for Kerr. Well, I don't think we know that at all. I think players really like playing for Steve Kerr. Time to fire Kerr. I'll tell you this right now, that the choice between Trayce Jackson-Davis's future with the Golden State Warriors and the choice for Steve Kerr's future isn't one that Steve wants me voting on. Must be trouble, says, but Damon, Wiggins contributed to the championship. He had 2 good months back in 2019. Again, he had 2 good weeks. Not even 2 good months. Maybe a month. I don't know. But no. UC Steve says, Damon, I love the content. Please share your secret with 95.7 The Game. Yeah, the secret to the Damon Bruce content is stay in the Damon Bruce business, which they were in, then they weren't, and now they are whatever the next PA announcer who's not Renel is. Again, they had a chance to be in the Damon Bruce business. They were in the Damon Bruce business. They got massive rating success in the Damon Bruce business. And then they've chosen to not be in the Damon Bruce business. So to that, I say, fuck off. No hard feelings. Good luck to everyone. But I'm going to win. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that I'm going to win. And I hope you feel the same way. Thank you for being here. Dale says, damn it, I hate basketball, but I love your passion. I'm telling you, man, Trayce Jackson-Davis. I know this guy. If Trayce Jackson-Davis were not going to make it in the NBA. I would have known it by now, too. I just know him. I know how he fits on the court. I know how he plays. I know what his instincts are. I know where he's going to be after every shot. I know everything about him as a basketball player because there isn't a single basketball player I watched more of than him. He is taking to the NBA the same way he was taking to the Big Ten by the end of his freshman, sophomore years. He is going to kick this league's ass eventually. The Trayce Jackson-Davis you saw last night is the Trayce Jackson-Davis you're going to get every night, starting in year 2. By year 3, he could be an all-star. Now, he won't go 9 for 9 from the floor every night, but this just shows you that there's so much more in a basketball game than just shooting. Just shooting. I mean, don't the Warriors have a whole bunch of shooters? Look where good that's getting them right now. Trayce has got fundamental building blocks that you need on a basketball team that aren't often duplicated by anyone else on this team. You know, Jonathan Kuminga is a spectacular talent. We would not label him a fundamental basketball player. Trayce is those things. That's why those two guys, I think, can really complement each other. I don't know what kind of basketball player. I have no idea what kind of basketball player Andrew Wiggins is, other than uninvolved and missing. Who misses more wide open, undefended threes than that pussy? Paul says, Damon, with all of the Korean food talk, can we get some bulgogi love? Absolutely, we can get bulgogi love. Yeah, what is this? Samjang sauce? Samjang sauce? Yeah. Otis Bird knows what I'm talking about. Marvin Bernard. You know it. You know it. That Marvin Bernard intro was just on ABC 7. She gave a little smirk afterwards. I'm telling you, I'm not the only one who knew that was her, that seriously, Renel's Marvin, now batting Marvin Bernard is her stairway to heaven. I mean, that's her return of the Mac. That is her, that's her tweezer. That goes on the Greatest Hits album first, if you don't mind me saying. Mike says, Damon, we can hear your disco ball. I know it's a little squeaky. I need to get a night. We need to up this whole studio situation. Johnny Dunn, Damon's still the best Bay Area sports host and broadcaster. Well, that's very nice of you, Johnny. I agree. And believe me, these radio stations have a choice. Get back into Damon Bruce business if you can ever even afford him again, or die by the sword. And I'm telling you, what's going to be really embarrassing is when you got two established billion-dollar company entities pushing out their bullshit behind them, supporting them, and Larry Krueger and I are going to collectively be mollywopping both of these stations. Absolutely obliterating them. You watch. You watch. Look at where we are after just 1 year. It's coming, baby. It's coming. So there it is. It was great being with you today. It was great having you here today. I want to thank you very much for choosing to come on by. Oh, we got Draymond's burner putting a little jingle jangle on me. Bruce. Young Damon Bruce now. Did I fire everyone up? Did I fire everyone up over there? Iceman 0072 says, Ayuk just messaged Tomlin on Twitter about looking like per Bleacher Report. Now that I think about it, I guess Tomlin and Ayuk do have like similar facial features. Does that mean he wants to be a Steeler? I don't think so. I don't know. But there we are. That's That's where we are. We're at the, he says he looks like another head coach. Maybe he wants to play there. Just bring him back. Just bring him back. 365 says, great show. Well, we can't do any more than that. Can't do any more than have a great show. So I thank you very much for being here for this show, for sticking around through the squeaky disco ball and all of my insane ramblings, whether they made sense to you or not. Thank you so much. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. If you're interested, memberships are available. To truly support the channel, it would mean an awful lot. Support the channel by hitting that like and subscribe, obviously, by getting a sandwich at Ike's. Tell them that Damon Bruce sent you, by the way. And you don't have to go home. You can't stay here. Thank you for watching.